1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How to stay alive. 6, 7. Go to hell or go to heaven. I've been working intensively on the many eyes using very advanced techniques. Every day, grueling and painful work. In Scientology, they have some. They do have some advanced knowledge in Scientology. One idea they've got is what they call body Thetans, which they say are discarnate entities, failed humans. Possibly something like what Gurdjieff says, that the astral body also decays. It lasts for a while, but it also decays. Maybe those astral bodies get caught inside of people. And that is what a body Thetan is. But the problem that they have is that they imagine that all humans have souls. But that's not correct. Or rather, there is a collective human nursery, and you could say that a human being that does not have his own soul represents the nursery, represents the herd. That seems to be the way it is. In a stellar nursery, a vast region of space in which stars are born, they accumulate material, and the ones that make it ignite, and the ones that don't are blown away to be recycled in some way. And so life is real. To live is real, to die is real. There is something real to be gained. And what that is for the seed, the relative temporary seed, to become real, to ignite, to fuse all the various eyes, all the various functions, all the different parts inside of it, through incredible pressure, through hope, through will, through devotion to the truth, through fire, to fuse, so that it cannot be unfused, so that it initiates the soul, so that it becomes realized. What was temporary becomes real. It becomes formed into reality. The many eyes that we experience are really very interesting because they are like partial humans. They seem to represent this kind of layer of life which is not a soul. but it is also not a sheep. Somewhere in between there are these partial humans, partially functioning, partially appearing, and those are the many eyes, and we have many of them inside of us. It is like a selection of them is poured into the container of the body, and this is the material from which you have to fuse. You have to fuse things. From whatever is inside of you, you must fuse. And people have to come along different paths according to their particular makeup. For instance, there is a military path, militaristic, a violent path, where the force, the masculine force is used to force the fusion. And there are other paths. When I was younger, I was very convinced of meditation, meaning formal Buddhist sitting meditation taught in a traditional school, and I was very grateful to it, because for the first time nobody was talking, and already things were 50 times better. And then there was a practice that was diligent and had goals, and things were 100 times better. I had tools, discipline, and a goal. I had something to do and something to reach, and I was grateful for that. And when I look out at the fourth way, who is doing any real practice or with intensity? I was reading something about Gurdjieff earlier. He was aligning the arms of a student who was in the middle of doing some intensive practices. That's how they were back then. The book club, the Fourth Way book club, is not going to result in anything. I would suggest that you do what I have said countless times. Practice. Put yourself into a school. Listening to me is not going to work. Ouspensky did not seek a teacher in India. Neither did he stay long enough with Gurdjieff for the fusion to happen. 3 years wasn't enough for him. Neither for Nicole. They did not wish to kneel. They did not wish to kneel. They did not know how badly they needed help, how badly they needed a teacher. They did not realize it. They thought things were going to be okay. I think only Ouspensky at the end of his life realized that things were not okay, and he became quite afraid, quite damaged. At some point you have to give up with all your pride. Another thing is the devotion. Where is the devotion in the Fourth Way? Unless you're really willing to kneel before Gurdjieff and learn all about him from his student books and accept him as your teacher and be fed by him and live like him and do everything that he says, only then could you really get devotion from Gurdjieff or to Gurdjieff. But yeah, it's from Gurdjieff because he would give you an opportunity to demonstrate your devotion to the truth. That seems to be missing from most of these groups. I'm not in a hurry to call them fourth way groups, but I don't know what else to call them. In my opinion, there are two parts to this path. The first part is represented by Gurdjieff and the work on the three centers. If you want to achieve the goals of that, all you have to do is to do. It means that every day you have to do new things and grow in your abilities to do real things, meaning to mow the lawn, to motivate yourself, to be able to feel different emotions inside yourself and become quite emotionally aware. Yeah? To be able to do physical things, to get off your backside. Yeah? It's not a book club. Get up. Gurdjieff was a physical and emotional man. Get up. Stand up. Do things. That's how you fulfill that part of the path. And the second part is what Ouspensky had in mind. But the problem for Ouspensky students is that they hadn't done the first part. And so the real I is not present in the solar plexus. So those people just end up in the many eyes, in the false self, until they die. It's that simple. And those two parts are basically different stops on the ray of creation, and they have a very different taste. To do the work of the first part and to do the work of the second part has a very different flavor. But always we need to bridge levels. If you want to travel, you have to bridge from one side to the other. It's not just one place. It's not just one type of work. If you want my opinion, Theodore Nottingham correctly represents the second part of Gurdjieff's path, because he does psychological work, the Ouspensky work, but he does it from the right place. He's a Christian, Orthodox. You know what's interesting? I saw a photo of Nyland, American fourth way teacher, and in the photo he had this encouraging grin on his face, very pleased, encouraging, you know. That is the sign of somebody who is in the false self. For whatever good he may have done, maybe he did do some good, but those people who smile like that don't recognize the falseness of the false self, because when you're real, you don't need to please anybody. Because reality is pure. It is being home again, where you don't have to be somebody. There are two liberations. One is to reach the light, and the other one is to sell yourself to the world in all its depravity and to fall into darkness. That is also a liberation.